All right. I want to thank everybody for taking the time to join today's session. This is the Purple Plum Tuesdays with Monday session. We actually started this a couple of weeks ago, and this is an ongoing opportunity for us to share both bite-sized views of how Monday.com is used, but also with the strategy and really expertise that the Purple Plum team brings to the table. My name is Mark Yaschik, and I'm joined by one of our outstanding solution consultants, Lauren Jacobson. Lauren brings an extensive set of experiences here, whether we're talking about project management, graphic design, marketing, and more. Lauren is a typical example of one of our solution consultants here at Purple Plum. She has not only the expertise, but also the experience in the business world to help make our client engagements as powerful as possible. The focus of today's talk is going to be on Monday.com service, which is a very dynamic solution with many different use cases. This second episode of our new series is, as I mentioned, meant to be a bite-sized overview of how Monday.com operates, but it's also done with some of our secret additional features that we like to talk about, and again, with the most relevant and valuable use cases. We will walk through some of the most common features of Monday service and also talk about how you, as a business with many different use cases, can be successful. And I always like to point out that Monday.com, and specifically Monday.com service, is not tied to one specific industry. We work all across real estate, marketing, restaurants, franchises, on and on it goes. There is no one specific way that Monday.com can be used. And certainly, as I said, service is the same. Now, our typical agenda for these sessions is going to be what you see right here. We're going to be offering common use cases where Monday service, in this case, is going to be most relevant. We're going to provide for you a demo on some of the most key elements and compelling components here. And also through our live Q&A, answer everybody on this session any questions that you might have. So I want to, again, encourage you, if you have any questions, either right now or throughout the session, feel free to put them into the chat, and we'll either answer them as part of today's session or we'll follow up later. Now, businesses often come to Purple Plum in one of two scenarios. They're either brand new to Monday and they're looking for a great team to help with their implementation and kind of visioning of how Monday can relate to their business, or just as often, they've have Monday.com, they either have recently implemented it or they've even had it for a few years, and they've kind of hit a natural wall that comes up against how they're going to get even more out of Monday, or perhaps they haven't completed their initial implementation and they're looking for a group with, again, the experience and expertise to be able to successfully use Monday. With that, I'll share just a little bit of an overview of who we are at Monday.com. First off, we are a company that's been focused exclusively on Monday for over 6 years. We are a platinum partner with Monday.com, which simply means that we've proven ourselves to be a reliable partner to the businesses that work with Monday and are looking for some additional help. Our team typically saves, and this is a wild number that every time I see it, it kind of takes me aback. We save the average client about 100 to 150 hours based on the experience that we bring directly to them. So what are the typical use cases for Monday service? Well, Monday.com service is flexible and it serves the needs of many different business processes. Whether you're filling in the gap in your current workflow or even you're starting a brand new business from scratch, service can help you with everything from billing and collections to employee onboarding, services requests, quality control, and even more. Now, I often am asked, yes, that's all fantastic, but who benefits the most from using Monday? And in this case, there's 3 different profiles that I would bring out. We were looking typically at customers, at IT, and in management. And the key element here is, really most of our clients are transitioning from Monday from a dizzying array of spreadsheets or other static tools that don't move at the speed of their business. By utilizing Monday, we relieve many of the common pain points that come up whether it's creating transparency within an organization to prevent siloed communication or reduce or even eliminate missed common tasks from the support staff. And one of the key elements that I always like to talk about is the ability for leadership to have a quick overview of their business operations at any time, not requiring a report to be pulled, no massaging of data, but just to have that information presented to them. Some of the common use cases also fall into customer portals, ticket managing, AI capabilities, reporting, as I mentioned, and much more. But what I'd really like to do is get right into it. So there's 3 specific areas that we're going to be touching on today. And the first one is using Monday Service as a client portal. And so there are multiple opportunities that the client portal allows for. 2 quick areas that I always like to mention here is that it empowers your constituents, whether it's employees or clients or even vendors that you work with, to resolve concerns and needs on their own. Also, it's a single repository for important links and videos and documents that really help drive the business. So in a sense, this is a shortcut or an intranet, even an internal area for you to be able to offer information to the various constituents that you serve. With that, Lauren, would you mind sharing a couple of details on how the client portal is used and also some visuals that go along with that?
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, absolutely. Happy to join you today and talk a little bit about Monday Service. So I'm going to share screen here and take you right into an example of a client portal. So looking at what we have on screen here, you'll see the internet, as Mark mentioned, and we're able to bring in a variety of different resources. So you'll notice here we have a link out to our website, maybe our social media. We're able to attach a URL to the monday.com knowledge base to serve as a library. And all of these resources are searchable by your end user. So being able to customize this to fit the needs or fit your branding is a really powerful way to connect to your end user. And then you can divide up this information into different subject matters as well. So thinking about how you maybe service different teams or your internal teams have different ways that they need to interact with that end user, you can divide up information and attach the appropriate resources in the right groups. So taking this to the next level is also the ability to attach this into your monday.com account. So we have the ability to link in different forms. We can fill out these forms to collect all of the necessary and pertinent information for a ticket or a support request. So once that's submitted, this is going directly into your workflow now, where your support team can start reacting to this on a quicker basis because they're getting that information real time. Now, from the customer's perspective, this is also really powerful because we have the ability to see all of our open tickets and correspondence at a glance. So we have open tickets that we can reference. We can see who we might be working with on these requests. We can go into past requests and search for things that maybe have been resolved. So we have information on hand if we're revisiting certain information that we need to reference. This is searchable, and again, clicking into this, we can see all of that correspondence in a common place so that we're attached to the information that we've been working on over time. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to Mark to talk a little bit more about what would happen next after we submit a new request.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so great. And I just want to ask you, because you work with so many different clients in so many different ways, there's an aha moment that I experience in the sales side of things. Is there anything that pops out to you where you hear the different clients that we serve, their moment of clarity when they see where either the client portal or anything else within service that really stands out?
I think the power of being able to attach external resources to that portal is really valuable. If you're able to direct people to one common location where they have a variety of information at their fingertips, it's really powerful. Rather than saying, hey, go here to ask for one thing, go here to ask for something else. The ability to centralize all of that information in one place, again, is incredibly valuable. And I think it's an aha moment, not just for building it, but for that end user to have an ease of access and ease of information.
Yeah, it's exactly the moment or the sentiment that I would also want to share. I hear, this stress that hiring managers have when they onboard a new employee and having all these resources that, frankly, change all the time. Having the client portal serves as that quick and easy way for across the board everybody to be updated and on the same page.
That's right.
That's fantastic. So again, we're walking through a couple of different use cases on how the Monday service works and can really be applied to various business needs. One entirely different opportunity is going to be based on submission requests. And this is something that, again, has a lot of different options, a lot of levels of sophistication just based on your business needs. But it's also flexible enough to be light and introduced to a business, either internally or externally, so that there's success. So, Lauren, can you walk us through some common examples on how a submission is made?
Yeah, that would be great. So, come back to our portal. So now we're looking at a Monday.com board that's a tickets board in the new Monday service product. And as we think about how this board might work, through our portal, we would have a client submit a request for an insurance claim. So receiving that, when we think about that intake process and how this might be supported by your team, we're using a clever way of deciding who should be assigned to this particular task based on the type of claim that it is. So I'm going to show off a little bit of a different feature, a newer feature for Monday.com, which is our workflow center. So in this instance, what we're doing is once that ticket is submitted through the form on the portal, we're making a decision about how it needs to be assigned based on the variety of claim type. So we have 3 different branches here, and it decides, Nancy is going to be responsible for general liability claims, Johnny might be responsible for automobile claims, so on with Betty with worker compensation. So coming back into this board, we have all of our incoming requests kind of in this queue where they're being assigned. And now the respective agent can look at this and start discerning some information about what needs to happen next. First of all, we're starting a time tracker so we can get some metrics as far as response time and making sure that we're meeting our end users' expectations and responsiveness. And we're also able to start bringing in the information that's pertinent to who submitted this by collecting information via connected boards. So looking at the item view card here, you can see on the left-hand navigation, we have some high-level information about the ticket and how it was submitted. On the right-hand information, we're actually pulling in dynamic information about this submitter based on a match of their email address. So we have an external board somewhere where we're collecting that information as a repository and then dynamically bringing it into this ticket so that we have at a glance and real-time information to how to connect back to them. Same with the insurance information. We're pulling that in dynamically to make sure that we have everything at a glance. And now as a support agent on this, I can start interacting with this client to make sure that they quickly get a response and can move on to the next phase of this insurance claim. So looking at the emails and activities widget in the center here, we can bring in different templates to plan our next communication steps pretty seamlessly. So having things like, a template for receiving that first ticket and sending out a response that's timely and saying, hey, we got your request, we have this information that's available to us, that can go out in a timely manner. We also have the ability to forward this information. So we're this is an automobile. Once we need to submit this, we're dynamically pulling in all of the information directly from that submitter without having to dig through and find or fill in all of those details. So that transfer of information becomes really, really powerful because you're not retyping or reiterating or digging up the different bits of details that you may need to pass on to a different support team or step in this process.
It's really amazing because as you've listed out each one of these items, we're talking about what would have been maybe an hour's worth of work for an individual agent is done in seconds, literally right in front of them, and it makes their lives easier. So you end up with a more productive employee, but they're also they're not run ragged throughout the day, because all the information that, shouldn't it be easier? This is that easy button, if you will. I think
Exactly.
that's really cool. And the way that you've shown off here the organizational structure for assignments, it's something that we have so many businesses that there's somebody playing coach all the time. Something comes in, we got to give it here, we got to give it there. By making it automated and easy, everybody wins. So I think this is a really fantastic view at what can be done with Monday service. And my next question is, well, how do we share this off with the leadership, right? So I'm just kind of jumping the gun here a little bit, because I do want to impress the value of not only having this ability in place, but also showing to the rest of the team the full breakdown of what's going on. And of course, that also means, identifying any dead spots, any issues that need some attention. So what I'm really hinting at here is dashboards. And I'd love to just be able to share a few scenarios on how the Monday dashboards in both service, but really across the board, become that place, right, where individuals can come in and quickly assess the tickets that are going on in the dynamic dashboards, meaning up to date also. But as I mentioned, those dead spots, where are people falling down, or maybe resource allocation needs to be improved, really on and on it goes. So what do you like to talk about when we think about dashboards?
Sure. I think being able to identify trends is something that I've always found so important. Monday makes it so easy to build dashboards that sometimes you're able to now get information at a glance that you otherwise weren't even thinking about, until you see it in front of you and you go, wow, that's really interesting. I'd love to share what we've built out in terms of the insurance claims process. I think it's interesting to look at some of the different ways that you can slice and dice this information to make it, actionable or reactionable. So coming across here, I do have a chart that's showing a few different things. So we have a total of 16 requests open right now for our insurance claims group. We have a breakdown of what types of claims we're receiving. We're able to see what the status is based on the claim type. So when we're looking at our automobiles, we know we have a few that are pending more information, and we need that touch point with the client to make sure we're gathering the correct details before passing it on as a formal claim. Moving down, we can also track some metrics on responsiveness. When you think of how this might work for a service level agreement, or just even a franchise level agreement, you might have a responsibility to respond in a certain amount of time. This is a quick and easy way to make sure that you're seeing those numbers in front of you on a daily basis. And if they're trending in an unfavorable direction, you can react to them quickly. I know planning your years and months and staffing, knowing details about when you might receive certain different types of claims throughout the year, and how you need to staff based on previous trends, or what the average has been over time, is an important visual that you may not have thought about. But once you see it in front of you, you can say, well, wow, this is actionable. We're up 200% in the summer year over year. We need to make sure that we have staff adequately added to support these types of processes throughout that time. Coming down a few more visualizations, just being able to see breakdown by who's submitting information, what types of information that they're requesting more often. Seeing something like, one particular, maybe it's an end user or a franchise member or a partner. If they're submitting a whole bunch of workman compensation claims and no one else is, maybe there's a red flag there and they could benefit from more training. So these types of, visualizations don't always feel apparent until you see them. And again, Monday being so flexible and so easy to add different types of widgets and charts to, visualize this is never-endingly impactful, if you will.
That's fantastic. And I do find that using metrics as a way to evaluate a business's KPIs, right? How are they performing? The Monday dashboards become that light bulb, right? Where it's all there. Everybody can see what's going on. And as you mentioned just a moment ago, being that it's dynamic, it's real information coming to them, there's an added value in the dashboards that you can reorient the views, what you're looking for, the layout of a pie chart or a graph, or the sizing on it. It becomes this almost an unlimited way to assess, again, your business and the success that you're having. Or as you mentioned, maybe there's some problems here that we can identify that kind of on a flat spreadsheet would not pop out to us, right? This is really fantastic. I have companies that come to us and say, every single Monday by 9 a.m., we have to provide leadership with a report with all these different statistics. Instead, now they have Monday dashboards. They don't have the Sunday kind of rush to get everything all ready for the week ahead.
Yeah, they're
So this has been
real-time information, so it's extremely powerful for anyone to have ease of access and ease of that information.
absolutely. All right. Now, this is fantastic what you just shared with us, Lauren. There's so many different ways that we can think about what Monday service means. We have a couple of questions that have come. The first one here is going to be based on kind of the use case, right? Is Monday service best for internal needs or customer-facing ticketing, a little bit of both, or what do you see?
Absolutely both. I mean, thinking about how you can, just streamline any request that you're getting. It doesn't have to be insurance claims. It doesn't have to be, anything external. It could be something really internal, like your own IT team providing laptops or software for your staff and team. But in any instance, really just thinking about how you can leverage Monday service for that efficiency standpoint of getting the information in, connecting it out to that portal, and then having that ticketing system to quickly react to any type of request you're receiving.
Yeah, you mentioned the IT department and the computers. One of the pieces that you've shown me in the past is when a ticket comes in. So let's say that, I'm a PC user and I have a ticket submission where I need some software to be added to my computer. Well, that ticket submission says, hey, Mark is using this Lenovo computer with this specific serial number and so on. So IT knows exactly what their steps need to be, just like we were talking about with the insurance claims earlier, right? That information is all pulled together. So we're not running off of disparate boards or other spreadsheets or other information that just doesn't allow us to be efficient.
Yes, and so much of what we try to plan for, especially with our customers, is sort of that interconnectivity piece, making sure that things are structurally built in Monday so that they're easy to connect and dynamically brought in. It can be an easy oversight to build something in or hard code it into a column that's not easy to interact with. So yeah, it's a great example of just how Purple Plum can help service our customers and making sure that we have the right foundation set up to make sure these things are connected in a way that are actionable and easy to reference throughout the various steps of the process.
Yeah, and that's really where the experience of working with Purple Plum, I think, really shines through, right? Because we've been there and we've done that in so many different scenarios that we have this connected and logic that we can bring to a company. Really is a neat shaping of a project coming together when I have the chance to observe that. So we talked about the customer portal or the client portal a little bit here. Tell me, how would you say the best use cases of that solution within Monday service comes about?
Well, really, this is all about your end user or your customer. So populating that with as much information as possible to really emphasize that it's that intranet, that one-stop shop is important. Again, it being searchable and letting them quickly arrive to an answer. Maybe having a knowledge base or a resource library accessible as well reduces the number of tickets you receive. So if you're able to provide some of those upfront resources and really build out that as a portal, hopefully over time it would drive down the number of outreaches you're getting because you've already provided information in a variety of ways. I know over the past few weeks, we've seen several really exciting updates from Monday on the portal. I imagine over time we'll see even more. So yeah, continue adding as much there as possible. And I think over time it'll serve as a very valuable foundational piece of that outreach to your stakeholders and end users.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Now, I want to have this last question to share here. And this is really interesting because we've talked about Monday service as an internal tool, as an external tool. We're looking at it from so many different ways. I think it's important to share the flexibility that actually Monday and Monday service specifically can be used on a whole set of simultaneous use cases, right? So the question here is, can we have multiple ticketing boards, or do all requests need to be in one workspace? What do you share there?
Well, it's really TBD. You
Yeah.
absolutely can have multiple workspaces. So if you're familiar with the work management product, you have workspaces. A lot of times people divide up based on department or permission needs. But with service, it's the same concept. You can have independent workspaces that have their permissions if you're on the enterprise package. And within those, you can have your own unique ticketing boards. You could have multiple ticketing boards within one workspace as well. Now, we've tried to be very clever with how we built out our insurance workflow, considering that those are three different, very unique use cases and claim types. It would have been very easy to say, hey, you know what, let's build those into three different ticket boards and have people submit them independently. But we really tried to keep the end user experience in mind when it comes to that submission process and saying, hey, you know what, let's build one place for the customer to go to take the guesswork out of what they need to do. And then on the Monday side of it, we can start filtering and creating unique views for the respective agents so that they're able to isolate and see information that's pertinent to them. But again, keeping that UX as top of mind and making sure that there's no guesswork as to how to submit a claim quickly. A lot of times I'm sure these are sensitive and we want to make sure it's very easy for them to work through.
Excellent. Oh, I love it so much. Well, we are coming up against the end of the half hour here, but it wouldn't be a Tuesday with Monday session if we didn't have a bonus tip to share. And what we actually think is most relevant right now is AI, but it's not just AI in this big overarching term that maybe isn't applicable. So I think the focus that we want to share real quick here is the actionable AI. What does Monday.com offer in service and really throughout the platform itself that makes AI something that we actually care about, not something that sounds nice?
So something to point out in the ticketing board submission process, we talked about the form, but another way that you can interact or allow tickets to come in is through an email channel. So you would have an independent email channel that's set up specific to your ticketing board. And when you think about how people might send or communicate through email, they may not have all of the details that we would ask for or require when you're considering how it's input from a form. So AI becomes increasingly powerful because now we're able to do things like extract information. Maybe they have an email signature, but they forgot to include what their current address is. We can extract that type of information, but also do things like detect urgency or sentiment. So in the example we're looking at on the screen here, you can see, car accident is line item number 1, and it's indicating that there's 2 fatalities. So this is a very highly urgent and unusual case for an insurance claim. So this would give the agent some indication of importance or that immediate outreach being necessary. If you look a little further down under more information, we have slipped on a banana peel. So AI is detecting that maybe that's not as an urgent need to respond to you right away, and it's indicating that that's a low low level of response necessary. And so again, we can quickly prioritize as agents what we have to respond to in a timely manner versus what we can wait on if necessary.
Yeah, it's really fantastic. And again, it's another tool that we have in our toolbox, but this is one that saves so much time and brings clarity to very busy organizations that are struggling to keep afloat. So, it's a cheat code, right? And I love the way that it's all coming together here.
And this is just one example. I mean, AI is so powerful, and Monday continues to, introduce new ways of using it, of extracting information, of detecting different things, of, just bringing ease to how you might need to calculate or build formulas in your boards. So more to come. And again, this is just a quick example of how it might be helpful in a service type workflow, as an example.
It's fantastic. We as a company and Monday.com in particular, we're embracing AI and making it useful and logical is really the focus here. So I want to thank everybody for joining. We are exactly at the half hour. I want to let you know that if you have any questions about Monday service, work management, CRM, or anything else to do with Monday.com, please feel free to reach out to us. We are teachers and we love this platform and what it provides for our clients. And we've seen so much benefit come to the hundreds of businesses that we worked with previously. And we'd love to be able to share that knowledge and expertise with you as well. So again, thank you so much for joining. My contact information is on the screen right here, and anything we can do for you, we're here for it. Thank you so much. Lauren, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks so much for having me, Mark. Great to work with you and looking forward to talking more about service soon.